Michael and Lynn are walking in the park. Lynn says, "It's good to take a break from revision. Thanks for walking with me." Michael replies, "You're welcome. I need a break too." Lynn sees some flowers. "These flowers look great. Oh no, there's a bee. Let's move away. I have an allergic reaction to bee stings." Michael says, "Actually, bees are very important. Without them, we may not have enough food." Lynn says, "What do you mean?" Michael replies, "They pollinate a third of the plants that we eat." Lynn asks, "How do bees actually do that?" Michael explains, "Look at these flowers. Basically, there are two types of flowers, unisexual and bisexual flowers. Unisexual flowers have either a male or a female reproductive part. Bisexual flowers have both male and female reproductive parts. During pollination, pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma of a flower." Lynn says, "I read somewhere about pollination. If the pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of the same flower or transferred to the stigma of another flower on the same plant, it's known as self-pollination. However, if the pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of another flower on a different plant of the same species, it is known as cross-pollination." Michael says, "Yes, the bees are pollinating agents. Other pollinating agents are animals, wind, and water. They help to carry pollen from the anther to the stigma. Look at this bee. Pollen grains from the anther of a flower sticks to the legs of the bee. Then the pollen grains are carried by this bee to the stigma of another plant. These flowers are animal or insect-pollinated flowers, since they have big and beautiful petals with nectar and a nice smell. They also produce rough and sticky pollen grains. Wind-pollinated flowers, such as dandelions and maize, have white or pale petals, a long and furry stigma, a long filament and style, and plenty of small, smooth, and light pollen grains." Lynn says, "This must be cross-pollination. Look at the bees flying from one flower to another. Why don't they just stop flying and stay with one flower?" Michael says, "Cross-pollination has many advantages. It involves the combination of genetic materials from both parent plants. The hybrid plants are healthier, more resistant to pests and diseases, and they can adapt to changes in the environment. They also mature early, bear fruits more quickly with more varieties, and produce better seeds and fruit quality." Lynn says, "I heard about it. My mom is always using melinja, the hybrid rice, to cook. One day, I found that the masmadu corn is also a hybrid from sweet corns from Taiwan and Mexico." Michael replies, "Other than that, Tenera, the hybrid palm oil, and Exotica, the hybrid papaya, are also the products of cross-pollination." Lynn replies, "Soon we will be living in a world of hybrid." Michael laughs, "Ha ha ha."